In this video, we're going to talk about motors, and specifically DC motors that we can drive with an Arduino. And so what I mean by DC is direct current, meaning that there is a steady voltage that is applied to it, and it's not alternating or changing directions. Like you find alternating currents coming out of the outlets in your walls. So DC motors are a good candidate to be driven with something like an Arduino, and these are three kind of classical kinds that you would find that you would use in these sorts of projects here. So I'm going to go through them really briefly, and I'll show you how to use one specifically now. But this right here is a true DC motor, and I just mean by that we just provide a constant DC voltage across here, like 5 volts, and it will spin and go. So I'm just going to use this little battery here to kind of show that, right? So if I hold it across the terminals, you see the fan starts to spin there, right? So this is just a kind of a classic DC motor. This right here is something known as a stepper motor. These you can find oftentimes in things like 3D printers because they're not as fast as this. Like this was spinning relatively fast. These are slow but very accurate. They're called steppers because there's some number of steps that it can lock into around each of its rotations, right? So this one I believe has 2038 different steps that it can click into as it's moving around, and that's what you want when you're dealing with very precise applications like 3D printers and things like that. But it's a little bit more complicated to drive. There's like this whole separate driver board, and then you wire that up to your Arduino. So we'll talk about this in a later video. But then the last kind that we're going to talk about here is a servo motor. And these might be kind of classic when you think about the sound of motors, like you can hear the little like gear turning maybe. So servo motors have 3 different wires coming out of them. There is the ground or 0 volt line, there is the power line, which in this case will just hook up to 5 volts, and then there's this orange control line here. And so what we're able to do with this is dial in very specifically where we want this to be rotated. Now this is a 180 degree servo, and that it only rotates 180 degrees, but we can tell it what specific angle we want it to be located at any given time. So this is used in like a lot of like robotics type applications, but it won't do a full rotation. And so let's flip over to this view real quick here. And so this shows how this control wire works. We send a little pulse down that orange control wire, and based on how long that pulse is on determines the position of the servo motor. And so if there is a pulse width of 1 millisecond, meaning that it's off for this chunk of time and then on for 1 millisecond here, it's going to be at this angle of 0. If it's at 1.5, it's 90, and if it's at 2 milliseconds, then it's at the 180. And so, it might seem like very precise timing, and it is, right? So what happens is we're sending a 50 hertz pulse signal, which means that 50 times per second we're sending a pulse that is on for some specified width of time, and that width corresponds to a very specific angle. And so we can type in all these different angles, and it will move it precisely to that point. And so what we're going to do is we're going to leverage a library that's already been created that does a lot of this for us, and all we'll have to do is say, hey, move my servo to this angle, move my servo to that angle. So it's going to be really helpful, and that's what we're going to use here. So we're going to flip back to the camera here, and I'm going to wire this up here, kind of like I had said. So let's move these other motors out of the way. And so here is our Arduino. And for this, we're not really going to need a breadboard. We're just going to wire these to here. It just came with these socket ends, so I plugged in these jumper wires, and there's kind of the corresponding colors. So the black is going to go to ground here. The red is going to go to 5 volts. And the orange is going to be our control wire, and I'm just going to plug that into pin 2, which is where we're starting because we want to avoid pin 0 and 1. All right, so I'm going to now flip over to a new blank program here with our standard template, and we're going to get started on setting up this this environment. Okay, So the first thing we're going to need to do is, like I said, we're going to be leveraging other existing code that somebody created for driving servos so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel and create it ourselves. And so what that's going to involve is we are going to need to include the servo library. So I'm adding a comment there. And the way that we do that is we will say pound include servo.h, just like that. And so the pound include and the pound define macros don't need those semicolons. They're not really lines of code per se. They're just telling the compiler to include this library with all the other code associated with it. So that's what I'm doing here. And now, just like we've done in some of our other projects here, what we'll do is we're going to define the pin that we connected the control wire to. So I'm going to say pound define servo, just like this. And I connected it to pin 2. So we're just developing a macro that says, okay, everywhere you find the word servo, replace it with the number 2, just to give us a more intuitive naming convention here. All right, so this is defining the servo pin. Okay, and then our last step here is we need to do something called we need to create the servo object, and we're going to talk a lot more about that later on. But for right now, just know that we're doing something called declaring the servo object. And what that's going to involve is something that looks like this, where we say servo, my servo, and that's it. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, we're going to create some new servo object. We're going to call it my servo, and it's one of many different servos that we could have, essentially. All right, so we'll circle back to a lot of that, but just know that you'll need these 3 lines of code, and then to refer to our specific servo that we're connecting up, we're just going to call it my servo, right? I could call this anything I wanted to. You know, I could call it like popcorn or something like that, right? But for right now, I'll just call it, you know, my servo. All right, so that's all the kind of setup stuff that we need, and I'm going to go ahead and save it and just call this servo like this, and it's going to refresh. And so now what we need to do is do all of the setup that we need for servo motors, and we're going to put that inside of our setup function here. We'll add some lines of code inside of here. All right, so the first line that we're going to do is we're going to say my servo, which is the name that we created for our servo here, and then I'm going to say dot attach, and you see it's already starting to fill that in for me. So attach is a function that is going to allow us to tell the Arduino what pin our control wire is connected to, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say attach, and then I'll just say all uppercase servo, so that it pulls in this macro and it says, hey, it's attached to pin 2. All right. So that's the first step. Now what we're going to do is actually move the servo. So once it's attached, we're able to move it. And so let's just say move servo to an initial position. Okay, so the way that we move it is we say my servo, which is again just the name that we created here, and then we say dot right. So similar to like our digital write and all that stuff, we're going to use the word write to indicate we want it to change to this specific position and value. So here you're seeing that it expects some value, and that value is going to be the angle. We don't have to worry about all of that like convoluted pulse width stuff. I just wanted to kind of explain that up front. All we have to do is tell it what angle we want it to be rotated to. So let's just say 90 to start with here. And then again, I'm going to need a semicolon at the end of the line here. And so that should just move it to the 90-degree angle and kind of lock it in that place. So just to make sure that we're all good to go, I'm going to hit upload, which is going to compile it, check for any sort of syntax errors, and then move it over. And it's saying it can't connect to that. And you know why? If I flip back over here, right, I was wiring it up and I don't have the USB plugged in. So I'm going to plug this back in, and then we'll go back here and we will say upload. And now hopefully it should successfully upload, and we'll see, yep, it moved right to the center there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power it off because it's going to try and lock it in that position. And so I'm going to rotate it to this position here. And if I plug it back in, it should, once it powers up, it moves right back to the middle. So that's because setup runs right at the beginning when I plug it in. So right now I can't move it. It tries to fight me and it holds it in that position. So you don't want to force it when you're actively trying to tell it to go to a position. But when I remove power from it, it's no longer sending that signal and I'm able to freely move it. And so again, I can move it right to that position. And then when I hit this and turn it in, it moves right back to that middle position, right? So let's go try and do some other things here, right? So if I close this, let's see, I have a little bit more room to work with. So now what I can do is I can add some other writes down here inside of our loop to make it kind of cycle through some of its different positions. And one thing that's important to note is that it can't immediately go to that position. While this line of code runs really, really fast, it takes some time for it to move over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a delay here. So I'll just say delay for 1 second to let motor catch up, right? It needs to get to its position. So I'll say delay 1000 to make it delay for 1 second. So let's just cycle through a few different states. So we're saying started at an initial position of 90. So let's just do like 0, 90, 180, 90, and make it keep going in that pattern. So to make it go to 0, what I'll do is I'll say my servo.write 0. And then again, I need to add a delay to give it time to get to there. And then I'll say my servo.write 90 to make it move back to the middle. And then wait a second. And then I'll want to move it all the way to its furthest extent, because remember, it can only go 180 degrees around. So I'll say my servo.write 180. And then we'll delay for 1000. And then we'll move it back to the middle to kind of start it at its initial position, just like it was up here. So I'll say my servo.write 90. And then I need to do one last delay so that it gets to that position and stays there before it goes back up to the top of the loop and then starts that whole process over again. So let's upload. It'll try and compile, make sure there's no syntax errors, and then it should start running. So there. We see it going through all the different states. And it's not perfect. You can see it has roughly 180 degrees of motion. This is a relatively inexpensive one, so it's not that accurate. But we see what's going on here, right? So it goes 90, 0, 90, 180, 90, and 0. Over and over again. And so with this, we can do all sorts of really interesting robotic movement. You think you would want the thing to rotate all the way around, but if you think about like your joints, right, your knees and your elbows, you're able to get around with, you know, less than 180 degrees of motion. So you can do some really interesting things with joints and a lot of really cool projects with this.